The film opens with a man in handcuffs who appears to have been severely beaten. As he smokes, he takes a tuna tin out of his jacket and opens it. After that, he puts a kitten on the table that emerged from his jacket. He is being questioned by a woman and a man across the table. Hutch Mansell appears to be a regular guy going about his daily business. The man and his accomplished wife, Becca, have two children together. At his father-in-law, Eddie's metal fabrication business, Hutch works an ordinary job. The man appears to be becoming weary of his monotonous daily schedule. Blake, his kid, doesn't even say hello to his father when he gets home from work, suggesting that he doesn't respect him. The husband and wife are shown on the bed with a pillow between them, suggesting that things are not going well between them either. When a dog in the neighborhood barks, Hutch leaves to check on things. He hears a commotion as he descends the steps, signaling the arrival of attackers. A female intruder shows in and demands money while brandishing a gun at Hutch as he attempts to make a phone call. On the female intruder's wrist, he spots a tattoo. His son Blake runs downstairs and attacks the male intruder, just as they demand his wedding band. Hutch seems to prepare to swing a golf club at the female intruder as she approaches them brandishing the gun, but he stops himself and orders Blake to release the intruder. He does, and before they can escape, the intruder strikes him in the face. Blake sustains a black eye as a result of the incident. Blake is becoming even more distant since he is angry with his father. When the cops show there, Hutch is furious with himself for failing to protect the invaders. As they return to their beds, his entire family is disappointed with him. Sammy, Hutch's daughter, joins him in bed on the couch downstairs. The only family member who gets along with him is her. They need a cat, she informs him. Blake asks Hutch if he may interview him for a project on veterans the next day. According to Hutch, he is merely an auditor. Blake should consult his uncle, a real soldier, Becca advises. Sammy gives Hutch a hug as the family heads out the door to begin their day. Hutch is informed by the neighbor that he would have beaten the invaders if it had been him. He continues by boasting about his new vehicle. Hutch's week starts to get boring. When he arrives at the plant, his brother-in-law, Charlie, questions him about why he didn't confront the invaders. Charlie asks him to protect his sister and hands him a revolver. The rifle is taken by Hutch and stored in a box at the rear of the refrigerator. Then we see Eddie approaching Hutch to discuss his reasonable offer to purchase the company. He tells Hutch that he wants a big offer after working hard all his life. He merely wants something that is his, Hutch assures him. After locking his office, Hutch calls his brother Harry, who is believed to be deceased. On the radio, they converse. Hutch informs him that because the invaders were young, afraid, and in need, he refrained from attacking them. They didn't even have their rifle loaded, he continues. Harry assures him that he made the correct decision and advises him to avoid making any foolish decisions. After that, Hutch visits his father, who inquires as to whether he can recall the person he was in the past. Hutch finds his family seated around the dinner table when he gets home. Becca inquires about his day after Blake hardly acknowledges him. However, Sammy seems to have misplaced her cat jewelry, which was in the bowl containing the money that the trespassers took. After that, Hutch visits his father once more. His father advises him to perform this task to the highest standard possible. To find the robbers, he uses his father's old FBI badge and firearm, demonstrates his badge to the tattoo parlors. He is even made fun of by one of them, who informs him that the badge is 20 years old. They inquire about Hutch's true identity. He takes out his billfold and tells them he's just a man seeking for someone. He challenges them to steal his money. People's perceptions of him subsequently shift as they notice the tattoo on his wrist. How can they help him? A man asks. When Hutch gestures toward a tattoo in a photo, they provide him with the owner's address. With his rifle aimed at the girl's boyfriend, Hutch then proceeds to the address and enters the residence. He requests that they return the cat jewelry and his watch. Hutch leaves as the shouting of the couple wakes up their ailing infant. He repeatedly hits a wall outside. He feels both sad and enraged at the same time. He boards the bus. The bus is then stopped by a car that approaches it. The bus's closed door is approached by 5 attackers. The female bus driver appears frightened when she opens the door, and a tiny child sits by herself. Once inside the bus, the thugs begin to threaten the passengers. Sitting peacefully in the back of the bus is Hutch. Hutch rises and approaches the bullies as they round the little girl. After requesting that the driver exit the bus, he shuts the door and turns back to the attackers. As the lads watch, Hutch takes the ammunition out of his rifle. They giggle when he threatens them. Hutch, who was already angry and irritated, becomes even more enraged and beats the living daylights out of the goons. Even though he sustains injuries, he keeps fighting. He nearly kills them with beatings. After that, he exits and expresses regret to the driver for the mess he caused. His wife is sitting in the dark when he gets home. He tells her that tonight was just like old times when she asks where he has been. He tells his wife that he feels no intimacy left in their marriage and that she seems far away when she tenderly cleans his wounds. "Do you remember who they used to be?" he says. Then Becca takes off the pillow between them on the bed and begins to caress him. A passenger loudly abuses his driver for failing to reach the destination in the following scene. Mob enforcer Yulian Kuznetsov exits the vehicle and enters a club. After singing and dancing on stage, he exits the stage and approaches a gathering of men. He inquires as to whether they are happy with Obchak's security. They express their satisfaction to him. Pavel, his right-hand guy, is then introduced to them by Yulian. His dancing and singing do not really inspire confidence in them as the guardian of their money, the group's spokesperson tells Yulian. In response to his displeasure, Yulian kills one of the stakeholders and asks if their trust has been restored. After Yulian answers the phone, we see him standing beside his brother's bed in the following scene. The boy has suffered significant brain damage. Yulian believes Obchak must have anything to do with the attack. Yulian is shown a Metro card he picked up during the altercation on the bus by another man in the room who is seriously hurt. Next day, Hutch appears to be feeling better. As he gets ready for the day, he appears content. "I'm proud of you for taking on the intruders," he tells his son. After then, Hutch's brother calls and instructs him to attend a man called the Barber. He informs him that Yulian, a very rich Russian criminal lord, has a younger brother who is one of the goons he beats. The Barber gives Hutch all the information he requires and adds that Yulian is still unsure about Hutch's identity. He will exact revenge on his younger brother, even if he despises him. "The Obchak is an operation dealing with millions of dollars on the move," he informs him. The caretaker at the moment, Yulian, seemed worn out by this enormous duty. They continued attempting to find Hutch's father, who Yulian is told is in a nursing home. A man at the Pentagon is blackmailed by Yulian's secretary to search the archives for information about Hutch. Nobody is listed for Hutch. In contrast, Hutch appears content as he cooks for his family and recommends that they all visit Italy. When he notices a car coming, he calls on the whole family to immediately head to the basement. To assault Hutch, Yulian has dispatched his soldiers under the command of Pavel, his right-hand man. The majority of the intruders are killed when Hutch attacks them. Pavel eventually uses a taser to knock him down. They loaded Hutch into a vehicle. To get out of the restraints, Hutch dislocates his wrists. He locates a fire extinguisher and blinds his kidnappers with it. Before Pavel dies in the vehicle crash, Hutch reveals his true identity to him. After that, he dashes home to let his family in through the basement door. Hutch phones David and tells him to be careful as he dashes home. After that, he releases his family from the panic room while shielding Sammy's eyes from the several corpses within the house. After that, Hutch takes Becca and the children to a secure location, and she begs him to make sure he comes back to them. Becca and the kids drive off. After arranging all of the wounded and dead guys on his couch, Hutch begins to talk. He discloses that he was once an auditor and an assassin hired by intelligence services to murder those who thought they were above the law. Up until he released a man he was intended to kill, he carried out his duties in a professional manner. After a year, Hutch discovered that the man he had saved was content and had started a new family and life. Hutch made the decision to quit at this point, defying the advice of his superiors. He has made every effort to avoid the specters of his former life since he retired. Then beneath the radio, he notices a pool of blood and a cat bracelet. He informs the deceased man before he departs that bones burn at 1500 degrees till they are reduced to ashes and leave no trace. Hutch admits that he secretly knew his life was a facade that had held up longer than he had anticipated. He burns his house on fire in order to destroy any evidence of the murder he has committed. And as he leaves, he picks up a picture of his family. Can you recall his jackass neighbor? The one who once boasted to Hutch about his new vehicle? Hutch, however, takes that exact vehicle and leaves. Then we witness two assassins in a car pull up to the nursing home. They head straight to Hutch's father's room and go up to him while he's feigning to be asleep. He kills both assassins as they are about to approach him. In the following scene, Hutch informs Eddie that he is purchasing the business while dumping a bag full of gold bars over his desk. On the other hand, Julian discovers that Hutch killed Pavel after watching the entire news tape. In contrast, Hutch temporarily shuts down the plant. Ammunition and guns litter his desk. Hutch informs Harry that he has come up with a plan when Harry calls him on the radio. He pulls up to where the gang is calculating the money from Mob Shack. He enters the building, opens fire, and makes quite an impression. Before he burns Julian's valuable artwork in cash, he takes out a Van Gogh painting. Hutch now drives to meet Julian at the club after dealing a lethal blow. Hutch has a strategy, but Julian is encircled by his goons. He has an explosive device hidden under his napkin, it turns out. They will be destroyed if they even attempt to approach Hutch, who is holding the detonator. Then Hutch converses with Julian while seated across a table. He informs him that all Julian possessed has been reduced to ashes. At this, Julian loses his mind. Hutch then offers Julian two options. He may either follow him or take what little is left and run. Hutch informs Julian of this before departing the club. Now enraged, Julian phones each worker he employs. Hutch is at the plant and they pursue him. To assist Hutch in battling the thugs, David and Harry are also present. They set traps for the gangsters using a range of cutting-edge weapons and their expertise. All the gunmen are killed, with the exception of Julian, who shoots Harry. Julian is killed when Hutch charges him with a claymore mine that is fastened to a pane of bulletproof glass and explodes. As the police cars draw closer, Hutch thanks David and Harry, who depart. Becca receives a heartfelt note from Hutch. Then a kitten shows up. He wraps the kitten in his jacket and departs with a painting. The police take him into custody. We have returned to the opening scene of the film. Without being charged, Hutch is promptly released. 3 months later, Hutch gets a call indicating that his skills are still needed while he and Becca are purchasing a new home. Harry and David are shown in a mid-credits scene driving an RV loaded with firearms to an unidentified location. The film stops at this point.